I'm Donna Daniels. My business is DMD Consulting, Human Resources Consulting business. I'm also chair of the Diversity Council of the Lake Norman Chamber, and I sit on the board. When I started my business in Cornelius, I decided to join the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce and try to get connected and give back to the community with respect to what I do in human resources. I met with Bill Russell, who's the president of the chamber, and asked him how I could participate. He gave me a few options and gave me some information, and what really spoke to me was the Diversity Council. So I became a member of the council, and as of January of this year, became chair of the Diversity Council.
Really, all you need to do is look.
Basically, there was some need for clarification around what diversity really is, at least from my perspective. There hadn't been a lot of activity around the Diversity Council for a number of different reasons. It was a little difficult to get some traction. So I think the first thing that we had to do was get clarity on what diversity is and really what we were trying to achieve as a council. And once we got that cleared, we were somewhat off and running. The reception varied. Some people were clearly very disinterested, and that was fine. We moved on to people who showed an interest and a commitment to what we were trying to do. We gave information and tried to educate people around our goals and what we were trying to achieve, and there were some people that were really on board, and the folks that were committed were truly committed. But as in anything, you run into people who are not necessarily happy to see you, or you don't necessarily fit the image that they would desire, but you just keep moving. You just keep moving forward.
This is something that needs to be talked about, because most people get very antsy when you talk about diversity, because diversity means race, and then no one wants to acknowledge race.
From day one, and regardless of whether or not you want that role, I think someone has to take the reins. My personality is such that if I see something that's broken, I have somewhat of a desire to try to fix it or to help in some way. So there clearly was a need to get some clarity around diversity in this area and give the council a charge and take some sort of action. There was a lot of discussion, but we really were craving some sort of action, and I think that this event was a great kickoff. I think some of the challenges are just lack of awareness. There are definitely businesses here that are owned by people of color, certainly women-owned businesses, but it was difficult to identify some of those. We sought nominations for some of the awards and didn't get quite the volume that we would have liked, but ended up with some really great nominations and great award recipients. But I think it's somewhat challenging to engage people. And I don't know exactly why that is. It could be because there hasn't been a lot of activity around it in the past. People need to see a result. People need to understand, okay, what are you able to do? What does this look like? What does it feel like? What are you really trying to accomplish? And again, I think that was why we wanted to do the event, to show people that we were very serious and we think that there is some work to be done and that we're able to pull something together that's professional and effective and can be fun. I think everyone here had a lot of fun.
So I want to thank you all and keep the good work up.
I also look at diversity very broadly. I think sometimes I run into challenges because I'm from the Northeast. Sometimes that's a greater challenge than being female or being black. So I really try to look at diversity very broadly, and usually when there's some sort of resistance, it's because there's a resistance to change or fear of an unknown. So I try to make the unknown known. The measure of success is action, really. Some action was taken. I think it's important to, pardon the cliche, to walk the talk. And there had been quite a bit of talk, and it's time to start walking. So I think this was the first step.